everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama. Welcome to our podcast.
Today we're discussing the Marvel retro TV show, The Incredible Hulk.
Dr. Banner is a brilliant scientist, but one day, a laboratory experiment that he's working on goes terribly awry. Since that time, whenever he's under extreme stress, his body undergoes a transmogrification, and he morphs into the Incredible Hulk. And that mirrors the seriousness of this show. But before we get started,
be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates of future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Now, this show came out originally in the 80s. And during that time, it was the premier superhero show. You had the Greatest American Hero too, but he wasn't a known superhero. It was really a TV show. I'm not sure if it was based on an actual comic or so forth. But everyone knows who the Hulk is now. Everyone knows who the Hulk was then. The Hulk has had a long, illustrious career. Mm-hmm. So for them to decide to make a show that tried to put depth into it and to show not just him transforming and it being about that, but being about the psychological and emotional problems that Dr. Banner was experiencing, and really delve into what made him the hero, a reluctant hero, he came out to be. And for that reason, I think at first kids were liking it. We were excited watching it because it was a superhero, it was the Hulk. But at some point, watching it as an adult, I'm looking at it and going, this show was really pretty deep and dark and sad and serious. And
I guess that was pretty much the Hulk in general. Because you think about all the Hulk movies they all have the same feel as the original show. It wasn't something fun, it was something terrible, because Hulk's a hero and Marvel pushes the heck out of Hulk. I mean, they consider him the best Marvel character. But if you think about it with this, then the Incredible Hulk movie for the MCU, the Hulk movie by Ang Lee, anything that has Hulk on his own, not counting the animated one, it has the same feel. This is a tragedy, and he's got to try not to get angry because too many people can easily tick him off. There's too many things on the world that can easily trigger him, and he's got to stay away from society and so forth. So if you think about it, I guess they just weren't far off, because I guess it was something about the appeal of this being, I guess as they say, a blessing and a curse of turning into the Hulk.
Right. Now, Rascal and I have been able to watch this together again on the Retro Channel. Again, about 3 years ago, we started. So I remember when we first saw it, and the first thing Rascal said was, "This is pretty dark."
Yeah,
during the first episode, and she was like, "This isn't what I thought it was going to be." And again, I think because we were young watching it, all that we were looking at is him turning, and Lou Ferrigno turning, and him being green, and the action. Right. I can honestly say, I don't remember nothing about the plots and the storyline. I don't remember any of that. I just remember, the Hulk. So while we're here, let's give a shout out to the original series cast. Bill Bixby was Dr. Banner. Jack Colvin played Jack McGee, and he was the guy who chased the crap out of him. Right. Lou Ferrigno, who would be the Incredible Hulk after he transformed, who was also a bodybuilder and became really famous. Right. And he was really applauded because he also is deaf in one ear. And he spoke about his childhood and how it went, but he found his path, he found his purpose, and here's another show that's left us a legacy of not only seeing a version of a superhero live action, but you've got some great actors who perform these roles and have left a memorable legacy as well. Unfortunately, I think the only one who is still alive is Lou Ferrigno. Yeah,
I think the others have passed on, as we've seen from time to time with news articles online when they announce it.
But the show did win one Primetime Emmy during its airing, and it got 2 more wins in other categories, as well as 5 nominations. So during the time it aired, it was really, really successful, and it was really, really considered to be well written and real. A lot of times you say people want to see something that's real and deep, and this show gave that back decades ago.
Right. And there's probably going to be a lot of people that still grow fond of this show because of it being different from Marvel. Because it's a little ironic because now, you know, Marvel's considered the fun, crazy, colorful company, and DC's the dark and gloom and gritty. And then if you think about it, you know, it was sort of the reversal at first because Marvel has some pretty dark or grim shows, even though they had heroes, whether about the heroes or the villains, they still had these deep plots like the Hulk at first, and DC was a little more fun, but had the perfect blend of the fun and action and adventure and everything. So you could say like Hulk was like the DC of Marvel for a time.
Right. Now, we'll tell you that it won Outstanding Achievement in Music Composition for a series. It was nominated. It was also nominated for Outstanding Cinematography for a series. Nominated for Best Retro Television Release on DVD.
Wow.
And it actually won for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, won by Mariette Hartley. And it also won for Best Series. So, oh, and there was one more TV Land Award. I think that's when Nickelodeon used to be called Late at Night,
Sort
TV
of.
Land.
Yeah.
It won for Character You Really Don't Want to Make Angry. And nominee for Superest Superhero. So, again, it has a legacy of being well loved and having left an impression on millions of people who watched it. The series originally ran from 77 to 82. So, wow. Okay. So, I don't remember that. No. Wow.
And two things definitely want to mention is that Stan Lee did have a cameo in one of the episodes. Is when I think it was an episode where they took Banner to court, and they were, I think someone had called him turning into the Hulk, and they think he caused some of these damages and disaster in the town. He was being charged with it, and of course this pissed him off. And then in one of the frames with the jury, you can see Stan Lee in there somewhere if you pay attention.
Oh my gosh.
And the second thing I would mention is the storylines. Now, you really have to pay attention. These aren't just like, oh, here comes the villain, you beat them up, day is saved, next episode. They had actual stories going on that, you know, I think they were an hour long, I believe.
Yes.
And there were deep things going on. And it was never, he could never stay in one place because of his power.
And the reporter who was chasing him.
Right. And each time, you know, he would be in a different town or different place each episode. He would probably bring to the Hulk nearly every episode. Because there was always just that one person who pushed him over the edge. And there were times you could see where Hulk could be nice and gentle, but because so many people were in fear of him, he was always in hiding or always angry. Which I think reflects with how they've pretty much turned around the Hulk now, because like I said, Marvel considers him one of the greatest Avengers or heroes they've ever had. They want him to have a bunch of movies. He gets his own specials. He's got his own TV show with a bunch of other Hulks he considers his family. He's the one with all the one-liners, better than Spider-Man now. He gets focused. No one understands him, but he's his own hero and he can do anything better. Now, depending on you look at it, sometimes Marvel can kind of go a little overboard in terms of making him like the best, and now the MCU, he has full control of the Hulk and Banner powers, and now he's Hulk 24/7, and now he's adored by people instead of in fear, which is such a turnaround from the beginnings of the character. So now Hulk is no longer a monster. But you can't forget, this is how it started out. This is what Hulk was until 2019.
And as I said, I don't remember any of the drama and any of the
except
depth
for the
or
first
anything.
episode.
All I didn't remember that. I mean, when we first saw it, that's when I was like, wow, I don't remember being like this. But again, you know, you're a little kid sitting up watching the Hulk, and all I was basically waiting there was for the change to see the comic book hero. But again, watching it as an adult, I can appreciate what it had to offer. One more thing I did want to point out is, again, the Jack Colvin, who was the investigative reporter, played by Jack McGee, that chased him during the time this came out, probably from, I think, the late 50s until maybe the 80s, mid-80s, or early 80s. Investigative reporting characters were huge. They had so many different shows about them. If you go and watch the retro channels, you've got a billion investigative reporters, a billion PIs and different things. It was just a time period when this was, really favored and really looked at highly.
Right.
And so he was serious, no nonsense. There was no playing around. There was no love interest. There was nothing that you would see now where, okay, let's show his life after work. Let's show his family. These investigative reporters didn't have a family. They didn't have a girlfriend. They didn't have any vices. Investigative reporting was their vice. And this is the way that this role was portrayed. So what may seem odd now looking at it like, gosh, that was the norm then. And that's what really got the ratings from the 50s all the way to, like I said, the early 80s. Right. So he did a fantastic job because he's very memorable. And if you go and check out his Wikipedia or check out IMDb, you'll see there's a lot about him and how well he played the role. Right. And how he was the threat to Hulk more than him being angry. Him doing the investigating, and he's the one who told all the authorities about him and gave him a description and had the government chasing him down.
Yeah, all over the country.
Right, because of him.
Right.
And then he kept chasing him around and helping to, contribute to making Hulk angry. Right. So, if you saw this series originally as it aired, either as an adult or a kid, let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know what you remember. If you watch it on Retro TV now, either because you've never seen it or because you just want to relive some awesome memories, let us know what you think in the comments below as well. And if Hulk is your favorite character, let us know what you love most about him, again, in the comments below. Right.
And I know Richard the Imagineer will definitely be watching this because he's a big fan of the original Hulk series.
So thank you, Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby, for giving us a legacy of another superhero character to love.
Right. Also, before you go, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on Paws videos and World of Paws podcast.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace. And you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to